Okay, some news you might not have heard about. Okay, so the Atlantic reports that Donald Trump refused to visit some grave sites in France because he doesn't want to mess up his hair. He referred to the fallen soldiers of the Second World War as losers and suckers because they didn't get anything out of it. Now, coming from Donald Trump, it's just an insult. The man is a draft dodger. He has 6 deferments. 6 deferments. He has a couple for both spurs in his right foot, a few more for his left foot, and then bilateral bone spurs. The person who wrote his diagnosis was a tenant in his father's building, and his own family members say that he has no bone spurs. He has none. That it was a ruse to keep him out of service. His brother served. His brother served in the Air Force and was ridiculed by the family for being said sucker. I think there is a little bit of envy for the prestige his brothers received, and maybe the president has hidden animosity towards people who serve. He feels they get an air of respect that maybe they don't deserve, and he, a billionaire, does. Normally I give 2 shits of how a billionaire feels about military service men and women, but coming from the president, it cuts a little bit, honestly, to know that our commander-in-chief may or may not feel this way towards me. Some of those suckers and losers I served with. I'm a veteran of 2 wars, lost a couple Marines, lost a couple sailors in those deployments, and that means something to me. So the president's attitude towards the military has proven to be a little bit sketchy at times. He's attacked his generals, people he handpicked as generals, and when they walked out the door or he fired them, didn't really have anything nice to say about them. I remember General Mattis penning a resignation letter that just ripped the president to shreds. President Mattis was handpicked by the president after being fired by then President Barack Obama for their disagreement on how to handle Iraq. He was rehired by Donald Trump and then later fired. General Mattis, a well-spoken, well-written man, penned a resignation letter that did not paint Donald Trump in the best of light. Mattis is just one of many generals who walked out the door on bad terms. The president has a long-standing feud with Senator John McCain. They ran against each other in 2016. President Trump obviously beat out Senator McCain, but their feud carried on to the Senate floor. A crucial vote was needed by Senator McCain, where he famously went up there and gave him the thumbs down and voted against the president's recommendation. The president ordered the flags to be raised to full mast after the death of Senator McCain, which shouldn't have happened from the president. When the McCain was in town, the president was in town also, and he ordered the sailors aboard the USS John McCain to cover up his name so that he wouldn't have to see it. And these are all verifiable accounts. Nothing is in question that we are talking about, with the exception of did he or did he not make the comments about the fallen soldiers. I'm saying it is possible because it falls in line with the person we have found the president to be. We see the respect that he shows his senior leadership when he pardons convicted war criminals. There was a Navy SEAL convicted of war crimes. Last name was Gallagher. Edward Gallagher was his name. And it took a lot for his fellow Navy SEALs to come forward to admit that he may have crossed the line on a number of occasions. He was found guilty and convicted of war crimes. They don't just shine on the Navy SEALs, they shine on the United States military. It makes more insurgencies in the area. It is a big issue why Americans should not commit war crimes. It determines how people treat you. How would you want your son treated had he come a prisoner of war? Some of the things he's accused of doing are malicious. I advise you to look it up when you have the time. We are now in September, and the president has yet to sanction, punish, or even speak against Russia for the bounties that they put on our soldiers, sailors, and Marines. Their lives had a value per head to insurgent people who may not have even been insurgents, who would take the money to kill Americans in the area. The Russians were paying them. It's confirmed by our intelligence. His own intelligence has confirmed this. It's not some Obama holdovers who are trying to make the president look bad. He has yet to do anything about this scandal. Now that the media has been on the president for 3 days for his attack on fallen soldiers in the Second World War, the president has now shifted the blame for his attitude towards the military on his senior military leadership for perpetuating wars for profit. The president himself is admittedly enlarged the military budget. He has put us further into debt. He's even used portions of that budget for his wall. But now that he has gaffed, he is now deflecting the blame to his senior military leadership. I think this one comes a little too obvious even for Donald Trump. I think people are going to see through it. Even the supporters are not going to defend him on this. I think he is right. Honestly, what he's saying is true. He knows, he has a good inside look at how that military industrial complex works. He knows that he is right in what he's saying. If anybody does any research into what he's saying, it will stand up in any court of law. And now that his foot is to the fire, he's dropping bodies off as shields.